I am a new YouTuber and I have devoted substantially more time to improving my thumbnails and titles to see if it actually does anything. And it didn't. Spending more time on thumbnails and titles did not increase my view count at all. Instead, my conjecture is that other people, as in people that are not the video authors, should spend more time on the thumbnail. And actionable advice would look something like this. Find someone who has not worked on the project and suggest them 2 or 3 titles and see which one they think is the best. I am running a series of experiments on my other channel to see what actually works for YouTubers. So let me walk you through my journey so far. Do you like reading Reddit stories? Do you just love to read about unhinged people? Well, guess what? I have the channel for you. It's called Agony Ann. Every week, I bring you fresh posts from Reddit to satisfy your cravings for drama. And so, that's the idea. I like reading Reddit posts, and the nature of the content allows me to pump it out, often without having to think about interesting topics. The posts are usually interesting, at least to me. I then run experiments in order to see what actually works to grow the channel. So far, I've only done 2 experiments, this one and the previous one. The first experiment focused on runtime. I wanted to see where my videos would be recommended if they were about, let's say, 8 minutes long. Previously, the videos were about 3 minutes long. It didn't change a thing, so on to the next idea. So previously, I did nothing for the thumbnail nor the title. I would just simply think of something that sounded good. I didn't dwell on it, and it went forward. This yielded some weird titles, for example, Unaliving a Starfish or The Joke's on the Baby. Absolutely riveting stuff. As the common advice would have it, you should spend more time on your thumbnails. So I took the advice literally and did just that. The basic idea was that I would get at least 5 suggestions for the thumbnail, as in the picture, the text, and finally the video title. As a bonus, I threw in more time spent on finding a topic. After all, a polished turd is still a turd. So I dared myself to find at least 5 threads that sounded interesting, and would obviously pick the one that I thought was the best. The first 2 masterpieces were more like before, just my face in my office with a simple text. The video titles weren't all that outstanding either. Boyfriend called me used goods, Reddit stories. These scored 2 and 4 views, by the way. The next 2 were more of a departure from the standard. I learned to use an image editing software. With that brand new skill, I made a sticker-like cutout of myself with a green background and a Reddit logo. For the video titles, I leaned more heavily into questions. So for example, one title was, "Is my fiancé having a secret affair with my sister? Reddit stories." I won't keep you hanging and I'll tell you exactly what the views were. Exactly 0 on both of them. Not a single one. So what do I think of this? Say we truly believe that the common advice is correct and you should spend more time on the thumbnail. It's high leverage, it works, etc. Therefore, the reasonable explanation is that I'm not good at this. This could very well be true, but at the same time, the advice to spend more time on the thumbnail seems very generic, as if there just wasn't that much depth into it. Just look at the video from Veritasium on the topic of clickbait. You do find that there just isn't much there. In his example, he talks about the video where he throws a basketball from a dam. His title was Strange Applications of the Magnus Effect. The viral title was simply Basketball Dropped from Dam. Well, damn. Similar thing happened for his video about black balls on a reservoir. He came up with some nonsense and then discussed it with MrBeast. What was his suggestion? Why are there 96 million balls on top of this lake? Both of these viral titles came from someone who does not know the context as intimately as Derek from Veritasium does, which leads me to believe that making thumbnails is not that deep. It is important, sure, but not that deep. Therefore, as a creator, when you look at the thumbnail, you should already know that you're compromised. You already know too much. You're the expert on this video. You should defer to outside feedback on this instead. Let me make this clear. The actionable advice for making thumbnails and titles is this. Find someone who has not worked on this project and suggest them 2 or 3 titles or describe the video without too much detail and see what you get. Obviously, as a new YouTuber, this is hard because you don't have a community, and pestering other people with this can be annoying. Also notice that the advice changes from you should think about your thumbnail more to other people should think about your thumbnail more. Before writing this, I was ready to give up on the thumbnail and title idea altogether. At least not until my channel grows a bit. But writing my thoughts down has changed my opinion. What I should definitely do is take my own advice and seek feedback. I should have another experiment where I find anyone willing to rate my clickbait. I don't think this would be as effective as asking my community directly, but as I have none, this solution is maybe 80% there. I think that's worth fighting out. Either way, at the time of writing, I am working on a new experiment, and the target is shorts. If I have companion shorts to my videos, will I get more views? And if you have any hot tips or things you would like me to test, tell me in the comments down below, and I'll see you in the next one.